Hello and welcome to another episode of Pull the Chart. Today you have to follow my brain, which good luck. So
Yeah.
this is the string we're gonna follow along. We are gonna look at Chappell Roan and Brigitte Bardot. Brigitte died about a week ago,
Mhm.
and Chappell mentions her in a song. Red Wine Supernova is the song, and she mentions her. So when she passes, Chappell goes on and goes, "Oh, sad, sad loss. You know, thoughts and prayers." Whatever she wrote. I didn't read the full post. So then her followers came on and go, "Why are you doing that? Do you not know what she stood for? Because she would not approve of your lifestyle."
Mm.
So here is someone young who references Brigitte Bardot, Miss Bardot, in a song and didn't really fully understand everything about her. Only looked at maybe one piece of her life. So we're
Mhm.
going to start with Chappell. Then we're going to go into Brigitte. And then we're going to put them together because I think you're going to find it pretty interesting, the two of them. Okay. So we'll start with Chappell. Follow my ADHD brain. Here you
Okay.
go.
Drop breadcrumbs. Drop
Okay.
breadcrumbs.
I'm just going to, this is how I find my strings between people. Here we have Chappell, and we have a good birth time for her. She is a Pisces sun, Libra rising, and we'll just start right down here at her moon in Sagittarius, which is same degree as Pluto, which is considered a Hades moon. It's in her second house. And I have to tell you, I immediately thought to myself, can she handle the fame? That was my first thought. Do you have like an initial reaction to seeing that?
Yeah, mine was, obsession, a little bit of lack of control or seeking emotional fulfillment that you can't seem to get.
Yeah. So it's like an emphasis on obsession, right? Emotional and sexual matters, intense feelings, constantly seeking emotional
Mhm.
fulfillment, right?
Mhm.
And it's just being in that second house, I was like, oof, I mean, it squares so much over
Mhm.
here. So here
Mhm.
we have it squaring her moon, or sorry, her sun
Mhm.
and her Jupiter here.
Yeah.
And to me, like, oh, music's a really great outlet for her. But you have to be careful because you can tend to overindulge. And if you listen to the songs, they're indulgent on her relationships, which are all very, I mean, she's young. Of course, she's going to write about like dating life, but that is kind of the inspiration is these romantic trysts and, you know, becoming who am I and my identity. But then at the same time, you have that moon and sun square can be like a pretty combative personality, like your
Mhm.
ego versus your emotions, but also can be used for your own motivation. And I look over here and I see, okay, it's all up across the chart from her north node in Virgo. And she has struggles with the press.
Yeah.
North node in Virgo, you really need to be focused on being here and now. Past life could have struggled with like being melodramatic. Be careful around like because she's a south node in Pisces, like melodramatic, self-pity, I'm the victim. Needs to be a little more realistic with her view of the world and less hypersensitive. Now you're saying this to someone who has this like emotional, extreme emotions and who has
Mhm.
so many planets in Pisces. But at the same time, I'm like, all of your planets are below the horizon.
Mhm.
This is a chart about self-development, not necessarily being out in the public eye, which she doesn't like to be told to smile, like she yelled at photographers. Just don't smile then. You don't have to pretend like you hear them. That's my thought is just block them out. I look here at her second house where she has also Scorpio. So her values are around like this transformation and like sexuality.
Mhm.
And then you see that she grew up here and she has Neptune and Uranus here. Neptune being By the way, music will calm our nervous system. So I really think music's here in the chart, right? But there can be a confusion on your own identity.
Mhm.
Changes in your home. She was in LA during the home fires. There's this fear of being alone, which is once again goes back into here in this like obsession. And then I looked here and I thought, okay, here she has this 22-degree Venus. And I thought to myself, gosh, you just have to learn to embody this self-love. Whereas you can't figure out your identity. She grew up in a very conservative town in Minnesota, in Missouri. Family was
Mhm.
super conservative. She didn't feel like she belonged there. I felt like this is something she was really gonna have to master, but also it gives you a strong artist drive because it is across from your midheaven. But also there's this fear of like, others aren't gonna accept me. So this like fear of belonging, acceptance for who I am, for my sexuality. So she has said that 2025 was her hardest year.
Mhm.
Okay. She turned 27 this year. This is her hardest year, which by the way, 27 Club. I need you to really watch her. She is gonna for 2026, she's got a couple shows still booked. Collective Restful Reset is what she has called her 2026 in her newsletter that she put out, which is basically an Instagram post. She said she faced a lot of challenges, which included debating on whether she should cancel her US tour, which she only did a few shows. There were some moments of like connection and creative renewal, which was good for her. She said she made a comment that she just turned 27 and friends say with a slight wince or they welcome it to, "Oh, you're almost at your Saturn return," which she's gonna hit probably another year or so because she talked about like the connections and their like renewal to creativity. There's this bit of this writer's block. She refers to a lot of things as like my project's character as well. She feels better in costumes and weird costumes. She mentioned filming her latest music video on beta blockers. So these like her nervous system doesn't seem to be quite in check right now. To me, this all kind of like read into her chart of like, and she didn't do this very quickly, right? She didn't like go from like 0 to 100. She'd been in the industry, lost a record deal, had still been in it, but I think when she took off really quickly. And she does a great show. Like my daughter and I went and saw her at Lollapalooza, at like the biggest Lollapalooza show, and it was amazing. She's absolutely like so fun on stage, so much energy. Like you can tell she like gives it all into the crowd. At the same time, she just recently came out and said she was diagnosed with being bipolar as well. I thought about this Saturn here that's unaspected, right? Demanding, nothing is ever good enough. Can be a bit of a workaholic, which when you think about like her being, I need a collective, what you call it, a collective restful reset. Okay, seriously with your words. I guess she's a writer. Okay. um, you could just say, I need a break, I need a moment, I need to catch my breath. But also the Saturn can impose delays and she has to like constantly be disciplined to keep going. There's a subconscious fear need for security. But at the same time, she can come across superficial and defensive. And I think she has come across that way with some of the press.
Yeah, she's
And
young
as
though.
she's very young, she's very young. That's one of the things I think is if you need to take this reset moment, then you take it. You take it. There's
Mhm.
so many years ahead of you. What did you think of some of the things in her chart?
Her chart just to me was the when you look at one point and then you look at something else, they're all screaming the same things to me. The Jupiter Sun conjunction to me felt grandiose emotions. Like you're either way up or way down, way up or way down in that one.
Bipolar. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't know that about her, but it you
Mhm.
can see it in her the unaspected Saturn up there. It also you would think, oh, Saturn and Aries, yeah, workaholic. But to me, it's not attaching itself to anyone. So are you that motivated? Do you
Right.
need, yeah, a little
Well,
more structuring to get things done?
I think
kind of
she
feeling.
wrote The Midwest Princess years ago.
Mm,
So as you're going through, these are the names of the original tour, the one that we saw with Lollapalooza, it was Midwest Princess Tour. Check
mhm.
out these names. The next one was Visions of Damsels and Other Dangerous Things. These are her pop-up shows that she's currently doing. She did say she will no longer name a tour so long of a title.
Okay.
But I thought this is so much Pisces with these like damsels. And then I thought about the Saturn with like your armor.
Let's see what else. We talked a little bit about the moon. The moon can, same degree as Pluto,
Yeah.
and it's also sextiling her Uranus there. So to me, it does feel like seeking emotional fulfillment,
Yeah.
you know. And that's tough. If you feel like you don't even belong in your family, that's so hard.
She does have a good, I believe, relationship with them. But
Mhm.
she did talk about she felt better when she changed her name
Mhm.
because then it was like she could create this new version of self-expression, which I think that's what you're like this here
Yeah.
was.
And so looking at her south nodes action going on there, this is where it all just kind of ties together. You can see a lot of it, I think, because Pluto is squaring that south node.
Mhm.
And she came into this lovely life just with a generalized feeling of mistrust. I don't trust myself. I don't trust life, the process.
It's
So
interesting
I
that
think
it's
that's just,
South Node Pisces, and if you grew up in a very conservative family where like God, Bible.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. There's a lot of vulnerability in our chart. So I would say when you're feeling vulnerable, like you should smile more. You are going to react. Your reaction is going to be coming out of you faster.
You know, she has no retrograde planets.
Mm-mm.
She's all forward moving, which that doesn't shock me then that she was defensive or like she's like, no,
Yeah,
I'm not doing that. How dare you want me to turn to the right 14 degrees?
exactly.
But you also have to learn to play those people, right?
Exactly. And then she has that out of sign conjunction with her Mercury and her Sun, so Aquarian Mercury.
29 degrees.
Yeah, this is out of the world thinking, it's communication that comes from here up, where all your other stuff is completely in an emotional body.
Mhm.
Those two don't go together. Wow. So it does feel like an emotional outburst, or
Yeah.
it can be until you wrangle that in. And she probably gets these beautiful ideas out of the ethers for her music and her shows and her creative titles. But
She's not going to credit this guy down here. But it's interesting because you talk about like the beliefs. I also thought like, oh, here we are, South Node. We have a 22 here.
mhm,
Here's where your like home life is. And
mhm.
I know I'd be curious to know if at some point there's a little spirituality jump back in.
I hope so. I hope
Mhm.
so.
Or
You
just
know.
feel like instead of using words like one of the collective, like understand there's, oh, here's my string. Here's my
But is
string.
that's a Mercury? That's a Mercury in Aquarius.
Hmm.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So, and she is also a 22 here. Like
Mhm.
she's really got to, like, I mean, she's bipolar, but at the same time, she's got to figure out, do I go for it or do I just switch directions?
Yeah.
Because I need something better for my own health.
Yeah, and I think, as we hopefully as we get older,
Mhm.
and our values get a little more cemented after trying on different outfits, that you
Outfits.
yeah, you
Mhm.
can change direction, and you can realize that I can change direction. I can be, really comfortable in doing that and not feel that I have to defend it because
Yeah. I think if you learn more things, this can change as much as you want it to change.
hmm
And it's fine.
yeah,
We're always learning new things. Oh,
exactly.
yeah. I did really think this, like, she's really got to figure out also how to, like, feel safe in her own body. I
Exactly.
thought about this, like, Taurus here, this, like, wanting to be loved, but also, like, got to love yourself first. Let's pull up Brigitte, how do you want to pronounce her name?
I think every Americanized Bridget.
Brigitte. All right. Let me grab her. Here we have Brigitte Bardot, and we have a good birth time as well. So excited about that. She is a Libra sun, Sagittarius rising, which she's got fabulous hair. Let's just stop right there. Fabulous hair. And she is a Gemini moon. So a little about her. Did you know that Bob Dylan wrote his first song at 15 about her? That was his inspiration, was her.
I'm not surprised.
So she was born in 1934.
Yeah, I am not surprised.
Modeling by the age of 15, followed by acting. First marriage was at 18, which not uncommon, right? Um, did her first film in 1952. It was a comedy called Crazy for Love. And then she did a film called Naughty Girl, which is co-written by her husband. And then And God Created Women movie, and that's where she got the like sex kitten name. She stopped doing films in 1973, and she finished this film career by being in Playboy magazine. She also was a recording artist,
Hmm.
and then she literally was considered the French Marilyn Monroe. She's been called an ardent patriot and the ultimate symbol of Frenchness. So after she left this career, which was in 1973, which I think she like 49 years old. She was 43 years old.
Yeah.
She became an animal activist. And this is really what she wants remembered as. But here's the thing. She was also anti-immigration because a lot of Muslims, it was very Muslim targeted, were coming into France. Now, mind you, this is like 1980s, right? 70s and 80s and 90s and today. But she was really like people went after because of like racial hatred. She has backed the far right in France for 30 years. She was convicted 5 times for racial hatred and the invasion of foreigners in France. She has a most recent book that came out, I believe, this year, which was called My BB Alphabets. Le Pen, which was the one before, was one of the presidents. I don't know what you call them, presidents there. She called her was the only urgent remedy to the agony of France. That's how Brigitte described Le Pen. She said a country she said had become dull, sad, submissive, ill, ruined, ravaged, ordinary, and vulgar. So she said Le Pen was the answer to what the country had become. Marine Le Pen was head of the National Rally. So that's their version of like the far right. And Bardot said about Marine Le Pen, like she's the only woman who has balls. Now, mind you, I want you to notice that comment that she referred to a woman as having balls. But she was not for the LGBTQ plus movement. Okay. And here's a quote from Miss Bardot. She goes, "Feminism isn't my thing." She goes, "I like men." And the interviewer said, "Possible to be a feminist and like men?" And she goes, "No." Like, I love that like French people are just like, no, not at all. Meh. So she's been married 4 times. Not surprised. Not surprised over here. But she's got a little bit more of a storied background. But I think it's interesting that she's very outspoken politically, which as well, many of these young artists, such as Chappell as well, have their platform and they use it for, I would say pro LGBT, right? Sex equality, all of these things. So they both have platforms that they used and were outspoken. Miss Chappell is now going to take a year to volunteer and be charitable as part of her year of commitment and rest. And I was like, there are more similarities between you than you might realize. But once again, we talked about that Gemini for Chappell on the 9th of, you don't have to agree with everything, but she could still be considered one of your inspirations because she has taken different paths throughout her life. Right? It's okay. So let's look at Brigitte, who passed away on December 28th. She was 91 years old. Do you have anything you want to point out right away, or you want?
Just that Billy Joel mentioned her in a song too.
Oh, really?
We didn't start the fire.
That's right. So here we have, I really, when we think about like just the sex kitten thing,
Mm,
here's her public image, right? 10th house, public image. I also like this in Libra. I mean, she was an actress, singing, speaking skills. When you have this on both your 11th, the same sign on both your 11th and 12th, your charitable work like can like like your work can lead you to confinement, and here she had been convicted 5 times, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that's interesting, and just right there. When I think of sex kitten too, this like, I don't know why that Venus and Virgo again, here's the woman. It's like another one of those like through the screen, I can't touch kind of things. But also it's unaspected too. So it's pretty powerful.
mhm.
Is there a need to receive love and affection, but then you still feel unloved? Or are you like self-sufficient, but I've been married 4 times? So I think there's a lot of like needing of love, probably. I thought about how she got political later in life, right? And I was like, oh, this is intercepted. This is something
Mhm.
that usually comes up after the 40, after you're 40. Political, sexual, in your 8th house here. I just really thought, like, with this being an Aquarius too, like this advocate and the idea, I just thought I literally wrote like your values get you convicted. Like, I just feel like it's very much so here in her chart. Like she was outspoken. And then here's someone with a Uranus here at 0 opposing her communications. And I just wrote like she's a rebel with a cause. She
Mhm.
marched to her own drummer. She said what she wanted, but she was literally a rebel with a cause. And she let you know what she thought.
Exactly.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like, she left it all because she did like the simpler things in life. Like, she wanted to take care of the pets. I mean, her moon is in the 6th house. This is where you have pets, right?
Mhm.
Like, she loved the pets. Yeah. Right here, you have
Yeah.
Pluto in the 8th, attracts the opposite sex, but you also promote your obsessions. Also, I really thought about how here she passes away, and there's Pisces and there's Aries down here, and people are talking like, all about the different aspects of her life. I feel like you it wasn't just like, "Oh, she passed." It was like, "Oh my gosh, she's this, and she was this, and this, and that." And, like, they're once again, we have to, like, put everyone in different little boxes
Yeah.
to see how we can judge them. That's what it really feels like to me.
That's funny. I mean, we can all hope that people talk to us about us like that when we pass. A couple things. Her chart has some similar signatures. I
Right?
think that Chappell has. Kind of let's start with that south node.
Mhm.
Okay, her south node. But hers is, a little different. It's sextiling her sun, so we have more of a kinder aspect to that south node. What that looks like is that you came into this life mentored by really great leaders. So she
Mhm.
had this ability along with her that she had been. So the challenge for her is how do you step into that, keep that momentum going? How do you step into that leadership role? You know,
Oh, yeah.
where in the past you may have, been shown the way, but now it's your turn to do that. Like Chebel, with her unaspected Saturn,
Yeah.
where's your motivation to
Mhm.
do things? It's your choice that you want to do that. What else? I agree. I have a lot of the same notes that you did on some of the things. I was looking at the Mercury square Pluto
Yes. Okay, so her
there.
Mercury.
Oh, did
Mhm.
she have a little bit? It feels a little like mental illness there, but also because it's in the 8th house going to the 10th house, it feels like controlled messaging. Like someone was having her do the controlled messaging, but she was able to get it out there with her Mercury
I
and
mean,
Jupiter.
could definitely, 'cause you think about how they use celebrities. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, you believe this anyways. Will you be the
Yeah, exactly.
hmm or even
Exactly.
for organizations, right? With the pets and the animals.
Yeah.
Hmm
What else did I pick?
That's funny. I totally wrote for that as well, like communication skills to influence others, because it also
Yeah.
opposes here.
Mhm.
Like she was kind of a mouthpiece for
Exactly. Yeah.
rights.
Yeah.
Hmm
In from the home. So she was very patriotic about France.
I,
And so the
I'm,
fourth.
yeah, I really thought like this really like someone coming into her home space and not respecting or treating her home at this level or with their culture. I think it would really just kind of like take hold of her.
It did.
Hmm
It really did. 0 degree Uranus. Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Oh, Saturn opposing Mars there.
Yeah, I don't mind this one.
No, no.
Yeah.
But it does feel to me like developing, this is my tie-in to Chappell as well, is self-worth versus other people's wealth. It's kind of, I went more with the self-worth aspect of the second house that way.
Yeah, but then this Aquarius here with like the expression of like
Hmm.
your own personal desires. Like I keep trying to tell people like Aquarius is not collective. It's finding the individual in the collective. Like
Right.
how
Hmm.
who are you outside of the
Hmm.
bowl of the
Yeah.
collective? You need to stay an individual.
So I love that. I mean, we did the math at 43. She stopped filming and she stepped out into her role of advocacy after the interceptions spread
Mhm.
apart and really, you know, rather than being controlled by the message, she was the message. She was the message, you know.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do feel like too I think about so here I feel like Aquarius, Libra, Leo, like just these signs of being
Mhm.
like a speaker and a leader for like rights, whether it's animal
Wow.
or people, and then it
Hmm.
being about her country with like Aquarius and
Hmm.
Cancer and like even Taurus, like this is my land. This is my
Exactly.
space.
Exactly.
Don't disrespect my space.
Hmm.
Yeah, so do you see how it's like
Yeah,
hard to
I got
explain?
it. I got your threads.
Got my threads. Okay, so let's put them two together. And if they sat in a room, how would they have interacted together? Had a conversation. We have Bridget on the inside, Chappell on the outside. Okay. I figured I'd put the older one on the inside.
In a really comfortable chair.
I mean, we can just look up here. The North Node for Chappell is right here in the ninth house. Like, this would have been a wonderful moment to discuss our beliefs and our two sides and to sit down at a table
Hmm.
and just talk it through. Do your best to understand each side.
I agree.
Like, that's all you got to do sometimes. It's just maybe this is we stop and we listen. Then
Hmm.
we have Venus all the way down here opposing. Bloop. That's a beautiful, beautiful drawing. I mean, they probably aren't going to get along great. They're probably not going to end up on the same page. It's okay. What'd you think of that? It's 9 and 3.
Yeah.
You have no comments on that?
No, I agree that meh.
Meh, not really that interested in that,
So
Jay.
9 and 3, is that what that is? Yeah, 9 and 3.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I see two sides to this, but it looks like um Chapel sees the big picture.
Okay.
No, no, she doesn't. She sees she's going to be educated, you know,
Yeah.
I would say, with Venus being in a really lovely way,
hmm
with Venus educate the ninth house, educating the third house that way.
Yeah. I mean, this could be a very educational, eye-opening
Hmm.
perspective.
Yeah.
Hmm
Yeah, I feel that way too with the sixth and the 12th house axis there, that, oh, this is how you lived your everyday. Oh, I need to really think about this and let me bring maybe something I hadn't thought about and let me bring it out, and
Yeah.
really challenge something and maybe, excavate some hardcore beliefs that I have along the way.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done a nice job of going, I stepped away from this career because of this reason.
Hmm.
And then, oh, really, I think could be a nice back and forth of like mental health, physical
Yeah,
health.
exactly. And that access, this is listening versus talking too. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they both would have a lot to say and a lot to listen on both sides.
Yeah. We also have over here,
Hmm.
we have a North Node Aquarius for Brigitte. And then, I mean, they also could have been, if one was younger, they could have probably had this dueling. I mean, every pop star needs a nemesis, right?
Hmm.
This could have been your nemesis.
Oh, but it's North Node, so it does feel like this is who you can grow into being if
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, you could be someone who is a spokesperson of your causes.
Hmm. And Chappell, once you step away from that vulnerability and find as you get older, you know, and then you can flex your muscles a little bit and grow into the person that you want to be.
And it's really fascinating to me the number of young people who talk about issues that when I think I was their age, I was just like trying to work and figure out who I am,
Yeah.
which I'm glad I did.
Hmm.
I'd rather have like a more stable ground of who I am
Hmm.
versus always being out there trying to worry about everybody else. I think you need to,
Oh, and I can't even imagine being in the position that she's in. Kind of, I mean, you're kind of relegated into as a spokesperson
oh
for
yeah,
the community,
the press
and
probably
then you put
turns and
something,
asks. Yeah.
you put your newsletter out on Instagram, and then you get bombarded with every comment that you're like, that
Hmm.
I don't know how I would do it. Honestly, I really don't know how I would do it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure.
What do you think of do you think anything about this Saturn here on her chapel or this Chiron, which then squares here? I mean, they have some fundamental differences,
Hmm.
which is fine, but also just open up and listen.
That's just it, you know.
That's all anybody wants.
So she was 91 when she passed,
Mm-hmm.
and she's 27.
Yes.
That's a 64-year age difference. That is decades and decades of
Living changes.
so many changes,
I mean, she was born right after the Great Depression. Like, I think that would be a great conversation is that look at where we started from. You were born in Chapel and you got to have a checkbook, right?
And she
Like,
was tiny. She was so young during World War II, and it wasn't good for France.
right? So that's the other thing is
So
like, let
there's
me
so
tell you what it's
many,
like to actually be in a war. Let me tell you what it's really like
yeah,
to live through some of
yeah,
these things.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. There's just so much there that I appreciate young activism. We also have to have some understanding where people are coming from.
Yeah. I think too bad they couldn't sit down. But I don't think
I
Chapel would
agree.
have ever known until this had happened, which
Mm-mm.
almost also makes me think like, oh, this north node of like, oh, wait, this person I thought was just probably the sex kitten was so much more.
As
Yeah.
we all are.
As you don't want to be put into a box, neither does she.
Mm-mm.
And the box she chooses and that she wants to actually be remembered for is the animal activism. So just remember that as you're
Mhm.
boxing people into their categories. That's my PSA of the day. So,
I agree.
so that is my red string of how
Hmm.
we are all connected. And I think this is a wonderful thing to maybe sit and think about ourselves. Maybe we go to the old folks' home and we just have some chats, ask them about their lives,
Hmm.
sit and listen and talk to people,
Right.
hear about their experiences.
Hmm.
Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Follow along.
Yes, please follow along, like
Please
and
follow along.
subscribe. Reach
Mm-hmm.
out to Sharon. She gives amazing astrology readings.
I will write you stories of your life. Um,
Hmm.
Patty as well. I
Mhm.
will put all the information on how to book with us. It is the new year, so you can look at your year ahead. You can do a year ahead at any time. I don't like that it's only like beginning of the
No,
year or spring, the astrological new year. There's also a Chinese New Year in February. But your
yeah,
birthday, there's so many options. Back to
right.
school, I don't know. Whenever you want
New
to.
beginnings can be anytime.
Wake up every day and it's a new day. No
Yeah,
idea what's being
exactly.
tossed at us. Yes.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Have a great day.